Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. My topic is really relevant as we come into the holiday season, and it's a topic about spending and how much to spend, and really more so like what kind of benefits or satisfaction do we get from our spending. Problem that we'll not uncommonly see is folks, in a desire to give and have a place of abundance, and to really live in the spirit of the holidays. They might end up blowing up their credit cards a little bit, and then they have to deal with the negative consequences of that, especially when the credit card bill comes due. So let's talk about that and like what can we do to have a really good holiday season and have a meaningful tradition for the holidays where there's no hangover. But before I get into the details of that, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on our social media platforms and consider signing up for our newsletter. We'd love to continue to grow our audience. It's awesome to see it to continue to grow. Really appreciate your participation here today. My thoughts on spending are really gathered together by Elizabeth Dunn. She's a social psychologist out of the University of British Columbia in Canada. And she's got a book on happy money, the smarter ways to spend. And it's a great book. Really recommend that you give it a read. But it's like what brings about happiness when it comes to money? Like what kind of relationship should we have? And like what does it mean? Like what kind of happiness do we get maybe more specifically from spending money? And so her whole book is about that. Again, if that's of interest to you, I'd really encourage you to give it a read. I think it's a good book. She took away 5 principles in her studies that suggest what you should do with your money as the ways to get the most meaning out of it. And as you might imagine, actually, her conclusion is not necessarily spend or accumulate wealth. Like we don't actually find happiness inherently just in spending money or accumulating things and buying more stuff or just simply seeing our net worth increase, investing more. In fact, there's really no degree of increase in happiness. Like folks who are ultra wealthy, super wealthy, can be just as happy as people who have absolutely nothing. And in fact, it could be the other way around. It's remarkable. There's some studies out there that suggest that people who have next to nothing live in a Dunn hut, if you will, out on as an Aborigine, have just as much happiness as someone who has their own private jet and mansions and homes all around the world. Because the anxiety and the worries that any of us face when it comes to money don't just go away when you have more money. If anything, it kind of enhances those, it agitates them, and gives us, even more trouble and anxiety. And so our money problems actually kind of continue to increase rather than decrease with more money. Now, that's not to say having more money is a bad thing, or actually spending that money is a bad thing, or that can't bring you to happiness. But it's not a solution in and of itself. What tends to be a solution is a focus on making memories, making experiences with our spending decisions, not just buying something, but buying something that allows us to do it with other people, people that we love. And so, maybe not just having a video game, perhaps, but like buying a video game and in which we spend time together as a family, all playing that video game together, connecting, or maybe going to a concert or a ball game. Not just by yourself, but with others would be the idea. These are ways in which we can find deep satisfaction, emotional satisfaction with the purchase. And so, have a focus on investing in experiences, making memories. That's meaningful. Another item that's in play is having an awareness that we can have too much of a good thing. If we have this tendency to find more satisfaction in the anticipation of something than in the actual acquisition of that thing. And so, like having some degree of distance and in having too much of a good thing, what I'm trying to say is like don't overdo it. Like keep it kind of special, a little bit of a rarity. It only happens every now and again. Because if it happens over and over and over again, it's just not as meaningful. In economics, they see that as like a lessening of marginal utility. Uh, the more we have of something, the less benefit. So, a plain example of this is rather than, having a really nice cup of coffee every single day of the week, maybe you have kind of a medium or an okay cup of coffee, but like maybe just once a week or a couple times of the week, or in conjunction with special visits, special items. That's when we have a really nice cup of coffee, and it just kind of blows the doors off. You're like, oh man, this is so good, with everything else that's going on, and it helps to cement and make that memory. So having a little bit of a combination of scarcity, because we can get kind of spoiled with our abundance, would be one thing to be keeping in mind. The other thing of it's really a good use of money, smart spending, is to outsource, to have not a problem spending the money. There are tasks that all of us deal with on a daily basis, a weekly basis, monthly basis that we just probably don't really want to do. And we'll do it because we don't want to spend the money to have someone else do it. But it's like, oh, we'll either put it off or it's just not it's just not enjoyable. And so, like, this is actually a great opportunity if you find or see something that you just don't like doing, and you've got the money. Well, don't do it anymore. Go pay someone else to do this for you, and just take that off your table. That's a good use of your money, and like growing your nest egg or accumulating more wealth or saving more, while then forcing yourself to do things you'd rather not do. It's like you're kind of missing the point. Like that's like let's keep the balance sheet down. Actually, let's not grow the net worth. Let's spend the money and not do something. So this could be like, I don't know, taking care of your vehicles, or lawn care around the house, or cleaning the house, maid service, or even having someone cook for you if you don't like enjoy cooking. The scope of what you can pursue here is obviously specific to your finances, but choosing and being okay to outsource this and recognize this just isn't stuff we want to do. Time is scarce. Like, let's pay someone else to do it, and then we can focus on doing the things that we do and enjoy doing. That's a great use of money. I already touched upon this, but recognizing too that working towards goals and that we find more satisfaction in anticipation is another key point of Elizabeth Dunn's work. It's just such a goofy thing. It really doesn't make a lot of sense to me, if I'm honest with you, but we tend to find more enjoyment preparing for a vacation and getting everything worked out and looking ahead at the date and getting things scheduled. And day by day, we're getting closer and closer and we're counting it down. It's like, hey, we're going to go. And then we get on vacation and it's, there's challenges and difficulties, and maybe the food wasn't quite right or your drink was off or whatever. There's something about it that just wasn't what you hoped it to be, and you have a nice time, but then the actual vacation can be, and not uncommonly, can be a little bit of a letdown. So rather than just impulsively spending money, saving money up for a specific goal, and having the benefit of anticipating achieving that goal can be much more satisfying and rewarding than just taking the card out, paying for it, and then dealing with the ramifications afterwards, and then feeling like there's a bit of a guilt, a shame of overspending, and why did we do this again to ourselves, and get that negative money script running through our heads. And then last idea to give to you, especially in the holidays, it seems rather appropriate, but there's also, this is backed by Elizabeth Dunn's research. We tend to find deep satisfaction in our ability to give money away. There is tax deductions potentially for that. If you give the money away to an institution, as an example, at least here in the States, you might be able to get a tax write-off for it. But even if you just give money away to an individual, you won't necessarily get benefit there. Although there could be a potential tax benefit, just so I can speak to that. If you're in a situation where gift taxes could come into play, where your estate gets to be so large, we have estate taxes. Maybe gifting to an individual is still a smart money move too, because for tax ramifications. But for the most part, giving money to an individual isn't a tax break, but just doing it, like it fosters a detachment with our money. And I don't know, there's a part in my own experience is, you give money away, there's almost like a statement you're making to yourself of like, what, everything's going to be all right. We're doing okay. We're doing well for ourselves. Like, I don't need all of this money. I can give some of this away. And like that has like this positive feedback, loop to yourself of saying, we're okay. We're doing okay. So, giving money away, especially the benefit that you're able to give to somebody else and the improvement that you can make in their life. And maybe that's a life-changing difference for them. Like that could be sometimes the very best use of your money. It's detaching you from it, giving you a communication that you're going to be okay. But then it's also helping someone else, which we tend, going back to this, making memories and, experiences, like that's meaningful information that gives us a sense of satisfaction, happiness with money. So as we enter into the holiday season, and there's this tendency, we've got all these marketing efforts to spend, spend, spend. This is their year. This is where the retailers make all their money. By all means, enjoy that. Spending money is not a bad thing. Go and enjoy your work, enjoy your wealth, enjoy your hard-earned income. But it is only going to make you so happy some of these other things are really the more meaningful items that we can undertake for deep happiness with money. Great. Thanks, folks, so much for listening. We will continue to make videos left and right. We love sending this content out for you. So until next time, we will see you later. Bye now.